It seems like an inevitability that once you've had a certain degree of interaction on the internet, you will inevitably get this question: is a hot dog a sandwich? And I've gotten this question before, and now with this channel, I've gotten this question again. Those of you who follow me know that I have thoughts on this matter. I've waded into this conversation twice before with an attempt to make a specific point. I think both times I've actually failed to make that point. But today we're going to try it one more time, because I'm nothing if not stubborn enough to keep trying to make the same point over and over again. You've probably seen the sandwich alignment chart. Additionally, you may also have seen the cube rule. We're not going to talk about the cube rule because it does things like classify a vanilla mocha as a 3-bean wet salad. So we're going to focus on the alignment chart specifically. Now, I know this is all fun and games, but I think this actually opens up a window into a problem that we're having in terms of discussing things right now. If we go back to that alignment chart, unless you're willing to jam yourself way up in the upper left-hand corner of this chart, you find yourself in a bit of a slippery slope situation. Because I can probably move you through the chart. If we start here, BLT is a sandwich. I can take you down the left side a little bit at a time. So a club sandwich, it's got 3 slices of bread. Is it still a sandwich? And if that's a sandwich, then surely a sub is a sandwich. Its difference is very minor. And from there, I can take you to a chicken wrap, which is still all the components of a sandwich. It's just got a different form. But I can push this even further. Panzanella is basically a BLT salad. It's all the same components of a BLT in just a different form. And I can push it even one further and talk about, is tomato soup with bacon bits on top and croutons, is that a sandwich? It's still all the same parts. But let's go back up to the top. So back into a comfortable place. A BLT is a sandwich. But then we can start moving along this upper line. A Chippy Buddy, which is a French fry sandwich. It seems like that should be a sandwich, right? I mean, it's made of savory ingredients. It's got 2 horizontal pieces of bread. But then let's take it one further and go and talk about an ice cream sandwich. It's not made of bread, but it is made of a carbohydrate sandwiched around something. So is that a sandwich? And again, like with the vertical line, I can push this even further. Lasagna is layers of carbohydrates with a filling. In fact, it is a savory filling, so it's not even as challenging as an ice cream sandwich. And if you're willing to accept different kinds of filling, well, those extra layers, those are just filling. A club sandwich is just a sandwich with a slice of bread as part of the filling. So lasagna is just a sandwich with another series of sandwiches on the inside, perhaps. Let's push it even one further. If you're willing to accept any ingredients, well then, is drywall a sandwich? It's got 2 layers of paper around a stone or gyprock center. The point of all of this is that we want clear-cut definitions of things. We want algorithms that explicitly include things or exclude things. But the truth is that it isn't a clear, cut and dry definition. And the act of trying to get that clear definition can allow bad actors to come in and undermine the process and undermine the conversation completely. I know that there are legal definitions of what a sandwich is in some jurisdiction, but that's not the point. Don't at me or go in the comments showing me all the legal definitions of sandwiches. This is a fuzzy line, and this action of what I just did, of slowly taking you through this process of eroding away your own definition of what a sandwich is a technique used these days to undermine conversation. It doesn't really matter when we talk about what a sandwich is, but it does matter when we talk about other things. But conversely, if you jam yourself in that upper left corner and you say like a sandwich must be meat between two horizontal pieces of bread, then you also similarly end up in a bad or dangerous place. You end up in a position where all crimes must be punished, or all repeat criminals are irredeemable and should be locked up forever, or very, very strict definitions of what marriage is. And by exploiting that absolutism, I can push you even further and further into that extreme. So the point of all this is just to say that lasagna isn't a sandwich, that you shouldn't listen to dishonest people just because they aren't technically lying. Two consenting adults should be allowed to marry regardless of gender, and allowing this does not lead to humans marrying dogs. There are things that are morally right, even if you can't point to a very clear delineation. There are things that are morally wrong, even if you can't point to a clear delineation. The slippery slope argument is almost always done in bad faith, whether it's used as a threat to force you into a rigid and extreme view, or if it's used to undermine a definition and attempt to render a term meaningless. There are things that are wrong, even if you can't delineate the line very clearly between what is right and what is wrong. Just because the line is fuzzy doesn't mean that there isn't a line. But it also doesn't mean that line is in the only place that you can clearly put it. It's possible that that line is in an unclear, poorly defined place, but that's the right place for it. Some topics are fuzzy. Some topics should be fuzzy. And that doesn't mean they don't matter. And that doesn't mean that words have no meaning. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I don't really know. But I do know that lasagna isn't a sandwich, and lasagna isn't a cake, and that salad isn't a soup. Truth matters. You matter. Trans lives matter. Equality matters. Even if it's not always clear where the lines are. Even if the lines between different categories aren't super clear. So hopefully I haven't ruined this meme for you for all time, but I hope that this gave you something to think about. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button. If you hated this, hit that dislike button, I guess. And think about sharing this with someone that you think might find some value from it. Thank you.